Hello everyone. A lot of drama has been happening around the medical field. A lot of strikes happening with the hospitals, doctors participating in it. And this is all because of the National Medical Commission Bill which was introduced in the Lok Sabha right now. And this is replacing the 63-year-old Medical Council of India. So why are the doctors and hospitals not satisfied? Why are these strikes happening? What are their demands? What exactly comprises of this National Medical Commission? Coming up. Let's start with the Medical Council of India. It has been functional since 1956. Now the MCI, otherwise called as the Medical Council of India, it is an autonomous body. It controls the undergraduate examination, postgraduate examination, recognition of courses, recognition of new courses, the syllabus, curriculum, and this had specific team of members from a president, vice president, and so on. Why is this Medical Council of India being replaced in the Lok Sabha? The reason behind this is they have failed to keep pace with time, which means as the medical science evolves, as the curriculum evolves over a period of time, the MCI has not kept up pace. So that is their main point where the NMC has come into place. Now let's see what NMC is all about. National Medical Commission, otherwise the NMC. It was first introduced into the Lok Sabha in 2017. Due to certain changes and certain political issues, it was not implemented at that time itself. But it had set up certain guidelines as to how the medical education and the implementation should be going on in India. But then in 2019, a month ago, it was passed in the Lok Sabha and it is going to be implemented right now in our country. It is going to replace the old 63-year-old MCI and become something new. The NMC comes directly under the central government and it is going to select the president and the other board members. So it is going to have a president, a few, that's around 10 permanent members and 14 part-time members, and all the members of which will be completely selected only by the central government of India. What they claim is that the MCI has failed to keep up pace with time. So they have come up with a set of new guidelines, new curriculum, new syllabus according to their amendments. So they have set up something called as a competency-based medical education, which means the training pattern of the medical students, be it undergraduate or postgraduate, is completely going to be different from what it was earlier. So the NMC itself will have 4 autonomous boards. The 4 autonomous boards are as such. One is the Undergraduate Medical Education Board, second is the Postgraduate Medical Education Board, third is Medical Assessment and a Rating Board, and fourth is Ethics and Medical Registration Board. So apart from the main board, these autonomous boards will be having certain responsibilities by which the main NMC will be functioning. So the NMC will also have additional Medical Advisory Council. So who fits into this advisory council? It will have medical members from all the NMC board members and from these state medical councils and state health universities, which means, for example, it is the Tamil Nadu NGR Medical University or maybe the Rajiv Gandhi University. So a vice chancellor from each of these universities will also represent the medical advisory board, and apart from that, from the Ministry of Health also, the secretary from the Ministry of Health will also be representing the medical advisory council. So each of the states should be having a state medical council which is already existed under the MCI. So they will be directly giving guidelines from the state level and their implementations at the state level, their curriculum following guidelines, and all this will be directly reported to the NMC. So what does each of these autonomous board do? The Undergraduate Medical Education Board, they would set up the guidelines for what a hospital infrastructure should be, what should be the faculty level, and what should be the basic requirements to teach a medical student in that particular hospital, be it a medical college or it may be another hospital also which has medical courses. They would also set the examination questions, question papers, the pattern, and their assessments. Similarly, the Postgraduate Medical Education Board also would be setting guidelines for a postgraduate medical education course. So the Postgraduate Board, they will be setting up questions, papers, examination pattern. They should also be setting guidelines for a hospital to be running those postgraduate courses, basic requirements, the amount of faculties. So these two bodies, as they set up guidelines for what a hospital should have, they would not be going and inspecting the colleges or hospitals individually. Whereas it is the Medical Assessment and the Rating Board which goes individually to these hospitals and they check the infrastructure, the faculty, whether all these requirements are fulfilled for running a postgraduate or an undergraduate course. The Ethics and the Medical Registration Board They will be looking at the registered medical practitioners, their license to practice, and to make sure that they practice in the most ethical way. So these are the 4 autonomous boards which comes under the National Medical Commission Bill. And the Medical Advisory Council would be giving advices periodically from time to time to upgrade whatever has been going on so far. Also, the most important thing is, in the Medical Advisory Council, there are also members from the Indian Institute of Management, Indian Institute of Science, Indian Institute of Technology, etc. So it also has non-medical members apart from medical members who should be in the Medical Advisory Council and the NMC. Looking at the examination pattern, the NMC has not come up yet very clearly with the syllabus or the examination pattern that should happen periodically from year to year for an MBBS graduate or a postgraduate. If this curriculum also was well defined, it would be very easier for the hospitals or the students to understand what the future of medical education is going to be. But they have very clearly mentioned about 2 exams. One is the NEET, the other one is the next. So already NEET is existent everywhere. NEET is an exam to get qualified to enter into undergraduate or a postgraduate. The exams are different. So that happens in all the states, and based on what all languages this NEET also will come up, that will also be mentioned very shortly. So which colleges do these people get into? Is it only into the central institutions or the state level institutions? Every single institution will be fixed only to the NEET examinations. So by writing a NEET, you can get yourself enrolled into AIMS or a PGI JIPMA or NIMHANS, anything. Even DNB courses also come under NEET. So all the hospitals, institutions who give medical education will be coming under NEET, and anybody who has got a good rank in NEET gets the choice of their hospitals. In private colleges, 40% of the seats, the fee structure will be finalized by the NMC. So this sounds like a black area why 40% seats need to have a different fee structure in various private colleges. One new examination pattern that has been introduced is the NEXT, that is the National Exit Test. What is this NEXT? Why is this NEXT exam there? After an undergraduate finishes his final year of MBBS, then he would have to write something called as a NEXT, that is a National Exit Test, to be called as a registered medical practitioner. This next exam is applicable for those of the foreign nationals also. If they have to come into India to start practicing legibly and ethically, they have to write the NEXT and they have to make an entry into the national registry to start practicing medicine. This exam is going to become mandatory for everybody to practice. So what if one person does not write the next exam and is not been registered? If he is found practicing, he would be advised for a term of 1 year of jail or 5 lakh rupees of fine, or even both. So this is very clearly mentioned in the guidelines. So what happens to the already existing registered medical practitioners? According to the NMC, already who have registered with the MCI will continue to have the license to practice medicine as it is now. Any new courses that they undergo will have to go through the NMC. So the state medical councils have been asked to submit their members list so that they get registered with the NMC also. The rural areas should be having a medical practitioner to treat them. So they have plans of coming up with community healthcare providers. Who are these community healthcare providers? Community healthcare providers are not doctors. They will be paramedics who have been working in the medical field. They will be qualified or given a limited license to give prescriptions. Now, what is this limited license? There is no clarity on what this limited license is, whether it's going to be term based or whether it is going to be limit on the amount of drugs or the nature of drugs which they prescribe. It has not been very clearly specified at all. And lastly, the most important thing is a bridge course. They have introduced bridge courses for Ayush doctors. These Ayush doctors will have a particular duration of training and they would have a bridge course and an exam. And if they have passed through that, they will also be allowed to prescribe modern medicine. This particular point is the one which has not been understandable by most of the doctors or hospitals with modern medicine. Having said all this, what is the actual problem that the doctors really face? Why did they really stand against the NMC bill? And were they really supporting the MCI? The point is, they were not really supporting the MCI because they already understood the MCI was not doing much. And to some extent, corruption was also proved with the Medical Council of India. But this doesn't mean that corruption would not happen in the near future. The clear guidelines not being set up even with the NMC, it can still happen. And moreover, the candidates or the office bearers of the NMC are not elected, they're only being selected by the central government. So what are the actual problems that the doctors or the hospitals really face? Why did they really stand against it? why did they strike? The first thing is, why do we need a bridge course? Ayush itself, be it Siddha, homeopathy, any other native medicine treatment, they have a specialty of their own and they are good at it. So they should be encouraged to do that one better rather than trying to stepping into modern medicine with a small bridge course which can happen for 6 months. I don't think they can replace the modern medicine doctors as modern medicine doctors, because a modern medicine doctor cannot replace an Ayush doctor. They have their own specialty which they are really good at. So is a modern medicine doctor. So he is really good at what he's supposed to do. There should be no bridge between various courses. If a particular patient or a victim is really interested to get treated in the Ayush part, that is any native treatment part, he should be really encouraged to do that. And if he is willing to go with modern medicine, he should be encouraged to do that rather than having a bridge. If they want, they can set up more centers for Ayush. They can encourage Ayush doctors to become more rather than trying to bring them up with modern medicine. It does not serve the purpose. It is going to cause a lot of mismatch and a lot of mismanagement can happen with this. And what is this limited license with community healthcare providers? What do they actually mean by a limited license? While a registered medical practitioner, that is a doctor, he has a permanent license. Why are limited licenses being given to community healthcare providers who may be paramedics? Paramedics should be given as paramedics. They cannot be made to replace a doctor and sit in a rural health center to give medicines like paracetamol, Rantac, pantoprazole like that. And what is this limited license? Are they trying to say it is only a duration, or is it only the limitation of what kind of drugs should be prescribed by them? It is still not very clear. That remains as a black area. The next thing is, what is the defined curriculum, be it for an undergraduate course or be it for a postgraduate course? Just now the bill has been passed. Everyone might think that it's very hard to set a curriculum just as the bill is about to be passed, but that is not true. The bill was earlier introduced way back in 2017 itself, which had to come up with certain modifications in 2019. If they would have come up with suggestions for the curriculum change, what is the change that they're actually going to give from the existing curriculum which the MCI had set up, then it would have really made a difference. We actually don't see any change in that particular curriculum. So currently they are saying that this current curriculum will continue until the National Medical Council has made up new curriculums or new changes. So they have taken a period of 3 years to set up new changes in all the medical colleges. So even for 3 years from now with the NMC, everything is going to be the same. So whoever joins with a fresh NMC curriculum, only it is them who will be facing the difference. But the NEET exams are going to continue. Next exam, as soon as it is being implemented, it will be implemented for all those who are just going to complete the final year MBBS exams and who have not registered earlier. So if you have not registered, it is advisable to get registered as early as possible to avoid the next exam. Or else, if you think you want to go through the next exam, please wait for the next exam and get registered. The next point is, what is the actual fee structure? It's very hard to define a fee structure, but still there are expectations on what the fee structure is going to be, because the fees was so high. Private medical colleges used to charge so many lakhs and lakhs of rupees and nobody knew where exactly this money goes. So if the fee structure was really mentioned very clearly here, it would have made a huge difference for the community. The next is, why are the NMC mainly concentrated only on the community health? It is important that the community health needs to be addressed. At the same time, what lacks in the country the most is emergency care. Emergency care as a specialty itself needs to develop. While all the major countries have gone way ahead in emergency medicine, they have not still made any step towards emergency medicine care. If that has been implemented right now, definitely NMC would not have any issues at all. I think the more focus should be primarily on emergency healthcare than community healthcare, because any person in the community itself will land up in an emergency, and at that time a simple community healthcare alone will not be sufficient. He might have to travel miles long to get adequate emergency care. If you have liked this video, share it with your friends, and please don't forget to subscribe and watch for more videos. Thank you.